Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. This is Willan through the scope. So today we're going to be looking at the sad realities that are life after campus and what generally we expect and how things turn out. So having gone through the 5 or 4 years in campus, there are a few things that we come to expect, and we most of the times have our expectations a little bit too high, or set our limits to what we can achieve a bit too high, which is not bad by any sense, given that the fact that we normally want to achieve the best in our lives and become the best versions of ourselves, and oftentimes it's a bit far-fetched or can be over-ambitious to some degree. I'm not saying that it's bad, but then after you're done with campus, there are some realities that will hit you on the head, and you realize things are not as straightforward or as simple as we would like to term them. In my experience, I've come to see that whenever you get to see somebody who has been out in the field or has been trying to look for a job for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, and they studied well, they got a good degree in a very good and lucrative course, and managed to pass with an above average score, say second class or first class, and they're still out there going about life like in auto drive. Don't be too quick to judge, because we are in a country where things don't always pan out the way that we plan, and it might not just be about the country, because then you'll hear people even in the US, people in the West, and people in the UK also complaining about the same things: lack of employment, lack of opportunities, lack of capital to start business, and several other things. So it's not that it's something small that affects the low class, or affects just us, or affects people who have not done courses that are not, say, lucrative, or that are not marketable, as we like to put it most of the times. It could be a symptom of way more other things than we would like to admit to ourselves or to other people. So having been done with campus, there are a few things that you normally expected, or were normally done for you, that you never considered to be a factor. Say, for example, in campus you did pay your rent, but most of it was funded by other people, say from loans, like help, or your parents, friends, family, guardians, sponsors, all that. And when you looked at the world from that scope, you normally thought that maybe it's not as hard as it seems. But when you get out to now, where nobody cares and you are a full now grown up who should take care of themselves, you realize that 30 days are not that long for you to look for enough rent for a month, feed yourself, move from one place to another, either if it's job hunting or even getting from the point where you stay to the point where you work. You realize that there are a lot of things that will make you not be able to achieve that small amount of money that is your rent. The other thing is, the second thing would be, when you are in campus, there were expectations of, when you get a job, how much you are expected to be paid, because after all, you are older in a bachelor's degree, or you are an engineer or a certified accountant. There are things that you expected, there are amounts of money that you expected that were not, to say the least, realistic. So you get out here and you realize that say a low level engineer or an entry intern engineer will be paid, say, at most 15,000, or if they get a job at a good place where they probably know somebody, or where you probably did something and you were noticed, you'll get something around 30,000, which is also would be taking it a bit too far. If you go to 40,000, you are on another level. So you get out here and you realize that the best that you can get for the first few 6 months or to 1 year is around 15,000, and your expectations for when you get your first job, you'd start earning a quick 70,000, and it's not so. Some things just knock you on the face out here. So if you do your side hustles, you collect things here and there, you can probably maybe get it to say around 25,000. But say in a place like Nairobi, that's quite tough to deal with, because if you live in a place where you can access your place of work easily, you will be paying something around, say comfortably, you'll be paying something around 8,000 to 10,000 for rent, and then you'll be commuting for around, say, 3,000 a month, and that takes you up to, say, 13,000. You've not put money for lunch, money for other things that you might want to do. So basically your entire salary will just go to funding your life in Nairobi. So if you get lucky and you get jobs in some other cities that are outside of Nairobi, maybe you could bring that around back to something like around 12,000, give or take. So yeah. Okay, so the other reality that you might be hit with would be how people see you. So after you're done with your course and you go to graduation, there is a certain hype to how big you are now, as in your family sees you as a big shot now, your friends now see you as a big shot, and you kind of let that get into your system, and you think that now you are some hot stuff out here in the market. But the market doesn't really care. You'll find somebody doing a job for an IT specialist. That person was at best, say, he did computer packages, and they managed to score that job as an IT specialist, because every job will want to pay the least amount of money to get somebody to do that job. And if that person can make their way to there, they'll probably get hired, and you and your name will not matter that much. So there's that. Out here, you're not a big shot. You're just like a regular rig, and that's just the reality of things. So there's that. The other reality would be you will get more from your friends than you will from, say, family, and that's it. So there are some people who are given the notion that after you're done with campus, you just come, look for me, and I'll find a job for you. I will get you hooked. I know people. You just get me that second lower, get me that second class, get me that pass, just come with that certificate, and I'll sort you. Don't worry. Probably won't work, and probably those people will go missing the second you start demanding for that connection. So you are all on your own. So some of the few people that you can always depend on out here are people that you went to school with, the friends that you made, the connections that you made yourself, and mostly those will fall back to your friends. So if I was to advise myself back in campus, or if I was to advise an early version of myself who was back in campus starting out, is to make as many connections as possible. And by that I mean I'd go back and tell myself to make as many connections with friends and to make as many connections as possible with the people that I lived around and the people that I interacted with, because in my finding it's been those people that have helped me have my way through living as in postgraduate, and if I had made more connections with those people, then probably I would have had an easier time navigating from maybe one job to the next, finding the best opportunities, because you'll find that you might not always scope most of the jobs out there, and you might not scope all the fields out there, but from the friends who are working in those fields, you can be able to find out where lies the best opportunities for you, and which are the areas that you could explore and find meaning in your work, or a career path that would suit you better, given that maybe those friends understood you more, and some of them might also have the same fields of work like you did. So that's the other advice that I would give myself. I wouldn't concentrate more on, say, books or learning or getting as many good grades as I could. They are important also, don't get me wrong, but it's not as important as making those connections. And I believe that's majorly what campus should be made of, or any other level of higher education. It should be more of you connecting with people and learning more about yourself, finding out what things that could bring more meaning to your life and your career path. And so the other thing that I have, say, learned, or I have come to have to accept after being done with campus, is that you'll not always end up doing anything related to something that you learned. You will not, if you're an engineer probably, which is something that I can speak of, you will probably not end up anything engineering related. You might probably end up in sales, you might end up maybe as a support, you might even end up unrealistically maybe even as somebody who manages, say, a farm of, say, other technicians, which is, that could be related, yes, but not maybe technicians in the sense of engineering works. Could be technicians in other fields. So broaden your mind and have a bigger scope for yourself, more than coursework or what you think your work will entail. Be more open to more opportunities. Like, I did engineering, which wasn't that much into IT, but most of the fields that I've ventured in afterwards have been around more works into IT and networking and Internet of Things and things relating to those fields. So it's quite a turnaround from the mechanical and electrical works and programming things that I thought that I would majorly do, but in some way I've found a way to mesh that to do something different, and that's the beauty of the corporate world, is that you will majorly have to adopt a lot of things on the way and to adapt to changing things and changing environments and changing works, because you could go into a certain work primarily to do one thing, and then you end up seeing another open path through that work to maybe broaden your career and gain a whole entire skill set that you did not expect, which is something that you should always welcome. So I think that's about wraps it up for the few things that I found to be a bit different from the expectations that I had going into campus, and the things that I have come to actually have a feel of and experience in my day-to-day after. So I would also like to know, so lastly, I'd like to know what has been your experience. What have you experienced outside here that's different from what you expected? What are the problems that you have encountered and how you have dealt with them? And if there is anything that you thought that I looked at it differently from you did, or I was wrong, feel free to say so in the comment section. Don't be shy. Comment as much as you like. Share, repost, and do whatever you want to with the information that I've shared. I hope that you get to grow in your career, and I hope that you get to venture into as many fields as possible and prosper in them. This has been Willan. I hope that I see you in the next video. Peace.